Hi folks, welcome back. I don't know if any of you could think back to the coolest Christmas gift that you've ever received. Back, you could be from when you were an adult or when you were a kid. I mean, the coolest one you remember. And for me, that gift was old Mr. Mercury. Mr. Mercury is a toy robot. I was given one just like this 50 years ago when I was I was about 9 years old, and my maternal grandmother gave me exactly like this. Mine still had the foam on the hands, and the way he works is there's a remote control here, and if you push one button, his feet go, and there's wheels on the bottom that kind of go in one direction and not the other, so he kind of scoots himself forward. If you push the other button, he kind of bends down at the waist, right? And then with the top controls, you can open and close his hands, and also move his arms up and down. So you would be able to walk him up to something, and he would bend over at the waist, his arms would go down, open up, then you could close his arms on it, lift his arms up, straighten him back up, and have him walk, and you could do all that by the remote control. I would be demonstrating that to you, but I bought him on eBay. He does not function. I mean, he's complete. No damage anywhere. You can see right there. Marx Toys. And I also got the advertisement that came with him, and you could see that he was $6 back 50 years ago, which if you double money every 10 years, so the first 10 years 6 becomes 12, the second 10 years 12 becomes 24, the third 10 years 24, just for an even number, let's make it 50. The fourth 50 becomes 100, and the fifth 100 becomes 200. So he would be the equivalent of a $200 gift with the same money. I don't know if you can see through his clear lenses here. He's actually got people who live in there who make him go. Right, theoretically, if he was real, he's a giant robot controlled by people that are sitting in his command center where his eyes would be. So anyway, I got this, and I just thought it was just a really cool toy to have, and to get back again. I bought him on eBay. And he really did hold his value. By the time he was shipped to me and everything else, he was the major part of $300, just under $300. I need to figure out why he doesn't function. Nothing on his remote control functions. So I gotta kind of do a little scientific work there to figure out if it's just a matter of there's a broken wire, or the contacts do not appear to be corroded or anything. I don't know, I think you guys could see that. So yeah, I have to see what happens as you push the buttons, if you get any kind of continuity. I want to spend as much time on the remote control as possible because that's accessible. To get inside of him, I have a lot of things to take apart here, right? I'm not sure if it would be easier to take off the back or the front. I gotta spend probably the front. Yeah, I think one takes the front off, and that'll allow me to look at the motors. If anybody's interested in that, I guess I can actually show you the repair part of him, because that's really. So I don't know. Are there any kids out there who had a Mr. Mercury robot when I was a kid? There were other robots named after other planets that were much more rare than Mr. Mercury. There's a Mr. Jupiter that, as I was doing research on him, that I ran across. And Mr. Mercury is like a, $300 robot, give or take a little bit. Mr. Jupiter is like a $1,200 robot. So if anybody has a Mr. Jupiter floating around, if you have the box for Mr. Jupiter, or Mr. Jupiter is in mint condition, he could be a $1,500 to $2,500 robot. Even Mr. Mercury here, if you have the box and he's really in mint condition, he can work his way toward $1,000. He could be almost $1,000 robot. $800, $900. So for those of you who do flea markets and all, keep your eyes open, because you never know. If you see one of these, it's well worth picking up, especially if you could get it part of a box deal that, you buy the whole big box you can hardly carry for $25. If he's in there, you just hit a home run. You're in good shape. So, yep, these old Japanese tin robots from the 60s are worth some heavy freight these days. All right, folks, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please remember to get out there and enjoy each and every day. Have fun. Even if it's cold, go outside and feel the cold. Bye now, folks.